Where am I? Just there's a screen that I just shared now. Okay. Yes. There is the tutorial. So scratch and drink water so that you can start. Others are still joining. So but then they're joining for the tutorial. In the meantime, let's just talk about Unit 7. So guys, Unit 7, it's a process costing. And can someone just copy the link? Those who are using phones, I'm using laptop. I can't share it on WhatsApp. Someone, can you just copy the invite link and then post on? You post it on the group, WhatsApp group. I don't know if I can do it, but then I'm using laptop. Then even if I can copy, I cannot share on WhatsApp because I don't have WhatsApp on the laptop. So yeah, someone, can you please copy the link and then you put it? I mean, you send it on the group. Or let me try. I send it via email to who? Okay, let me do this. Right. Okay. Ish. A moment, the link. Okay, I'm managing to copy the link. Okay. Then I'm sharing it. Right. Oh, yes. All right, Kevs, you. Oh, okay. You already. Thank you, Kevs. Okay. Then now I can come back to the. Okay, then we may start. It's 7 minutes past, so time is moving. So guys, this is Unit 7, which is process costing. Then what? I don't know who's having a microphone that is on, but then please. You know, your microphone. Just check your microphone. If it's on, can you please cut it off so that you do not have distractions like phone vibrating and things like that. So this is Unit 7, guys. On the, I don't know if I'm sharing the screen, but then on my side I'm sharing it. All right. Wait. Yes. Unit 7, the one that is on the screen. And then this is the tutorial there. But then before we do the tutorial, then I'll just talk Nyana about Unit 7. So on Unit 5, yeah, Unit 5, which was job costing. And then job costing, I told that job costing is a process whereby you, let me not say a process, a situation whereby okay. In the meantime, if you see a notification saying that a guest in the lobby, just go there and admit that person. I'm not able to. So if there's someone in the lobby, you admit. Please switch off your mic because TM, who is TM? TM, XL. XL or it's Linda, yeah. Please mute your mic there. because I can hear myself again, then yeah, it becomes a problem when I'm talking, because I talk, then I hear myself, then I have to. Thank you. Now we are quiet. So I'm saying that unit 5, unit 5, it was job costing, whereby you were told that it's a situation whereby the business or company, it's producing units that are different, right? So it means you have to assign a unit cost to each and every unit, because they are different, they require different materials, they require, I mean, different amount of labor. So each and every output will have its own unit cost, right? Because the elements that you are putting there, the time, it's different. It's different unit from unit to unit. So that's why you'll have to say, okay, then the unit costs are different, right? So now we are doing unit 7, which is process costing. There is a difference between process costing and the one of job costing. So process costing, in this case, now we are doing, okay, we are in a situation or a company whereby we are producing same units, like you're just producing the same thing in a lot, like in batches or in larger amounts, yeah, so to say. So, but then the amounts that you put in each and every unit, labor, materials, they're just the same. So it means that at the end, you're supposed to have, if maybe you produced 20, you used 20 liters or whatsoever, then at the end, the unit cost is supposed to be the same for each and every unit. So that's where it becomes easy in this case, because you do not have to differentiate or calculate per individual, just you calculate one unit cost for everything that is there. Right. Okay. You calculate unit cost for everything that is there. It's not calculate individually, because these things, they are the same. We assume that you put the same amount of material per unit for all the units, same amount of everything that you can put, overheads or whatsoever that you apply. So everything will be the same. Therefore, if you produce 1,000 units, and you mute your mic, okay. Therefore, if you produce 1,000 units, you'll assume that these units, all of them, they're having is the same unit cost. So hence I'm repeating this theme of unit cost, because I want you to understand that in a process costing system, the unit cost will be the same for all the units. So right. Okay, right. So now we are saying that, okay, this is process costing. So even the name tells you that we are working with processes here. So let's say we are producing something that requires maybe something that you produce from process 1 to process. I'll just focus on 2 processes. For example, let me focus on clothes. Yes. Let's say then you have a department there. You're producing clothes, right? So you know if you're producing clothes, you're going to need, I don't know what you call it, but then the cloth in Dwang, that thing that you cut and then you turn it, and then the pieces, you combine them together, you have a t-shirt. So in that company, you are going to have a department. You will call it a department, but then here we're going to call it a process. So let's say the first department of process A, it's where you cut these things, right? And then process 2, it's where now you will put them together using needles or sewing machines, but then sewing machines, because this is a company, right? Needles will be part of the sewing machine. So yeah, you'll use the sewing machine. So process A, we say that you are cutting. Process B, you are putting these things together, right? So then in the situation of process costing, there are things that you need to understand that, okay, right, as a company that, okay, we produce t-shirts, then there's a sewing together to bring us a t-shirt that we are looking for, t-shirts, so to say, because this is a process. We're building a lot of things, we're manufacturing a lot of things, t-shirts in this case. So what you'll do now is that, what you need to know, I mean, is that in general, as a business, so in this case that you are saying that you're producing t-shirts, you just have to assume or estimate that, because you know that you are working, you're working with things that still do happen. So to consider those mistakes, there's something that you call a normal loss, right? So a normal loss, it's like, let's say then I expect that I expect that I'll produce, with the cloth that I'm having, because we are producing t-shirts using it, expecting that, the cloth, when I buy it, it says that this cloth can manufacture 10,000 t-shirts. Yeah. So, but then as a business, because I know that, in the manufacturing process, mistakes can happen. So I'll just estimate that, out of the 10,000 that I can produce, right, that I'm supposed to produce, maybe in the manufacturing process where I'll be cutting, I'll lose maybe 1,000 t-shirts that I was supposed to make. So that's the normal loss. You'll say that with the mistake, production mistakes or cutting mistakes or whatsoever, or even anything that can happen, we just say it's a normal loss that, I will not produce the total amount of t-shirts, right? Then that's the normal loss. So what do you do with normal loss? Normal loss, you'll just estimate that, this amount of 1,000 t-shirts that I'm not going to get, we are just going to recover it if we produce goods. So it's not a cost, but then it's just an estimate, right? And then again, then you can, there's a normal loss, we just discussed it. Then there's an abnormal loss. Abnormal loss, in that case, you are going to say it's that loss that, I can hear myself again. Can you please switch off your mic if it's on? Can you please switch it off if it's, because I can hear myself now. So abnormal loss is that loss now. We know that, we estimated that we were going, out of 10,000, we're going to lose 1,000 because of natural losses that we cannot avoid. Because when you're working, you do make mistakes. Then now you're going to have an abnormal loss, the one that now you did not plan for. Actually, you could have avoided, you can avoid it, but then it happens, right? So that one, you can say that further in this perspective of cutting, then you can say again, you just find people who are too negligent and people who are not careful, and then they cut things wrong and everything, then you are just incurring a loss. So that one, you can avoid it maybe by hiring people who are qualified and stuff, but then you just hire people who want to pay less. Then they just cut. Yeah, you'll find someone was supposed to measure something at 1.5 centimeter, they measure 2 centimeters. Then when now they have to combine, you find that thing is even extra. They have to cut the extra piece and throw it away. So that one, you could have avoided it by when you were cutting in the first place. You were supposed to just measure accurately. So the abnormal loss is something that you could have avoided, but then you avoid it, right? So if you check then tutorial, I don't think as for accounting 2552 process costing goes much as you have to know the scrap value and stuff. So, but then we'll focus on the tutorial. That was just the background. But you can have a normal loss. That one, normal loss is something that you know is good. Loss, you could have avoided it, but then you were too negligent, then it happened. So, but then on the tutorial, it's not even focusing on those. That was just the background. In this tutorial 7, then it's appearing on the screen there. The information is saying that a company that manufacture toothpaste uses a number of processes in the manufacturing process. So, before we even get to the tutorial, I said that when you focus on sewing t-shirts, you're going to have process A, whereby you cut and then you measure the measurements. All right. Then there will be process B where now you are sewing, right? So because we have two processes, it means that the output of process A where you were cutting is going to be the input of process B. I can still hear myself, but then it's fine. I can't mute people, but then I'll just try to continue talking, or I don't know. Okay. The output of process B or process number 2, it's supposed to be the output of process number 1. Note that. It means that whatever you finish on process A, in this case of sewing t-shirts, whatever Me now. I'm back. All right, I'm back. Don't worry about that, Caps. I'm back. I'm saying that, okay, in this case, you are given that they use two processes to manufacture the toothpaste. Toothpaste, it's Colgate. Yes, they use the two processes to manufacture Colgate. As the management accountant, you have been provided with the information for the month ended 31 December 2019. So I don't know if you're hearing me. I didn't realize that I'm muted. Let me check if I'm still on unmute. Okay, surely you can hear me. So what I'm saying is that given a process there, like they tell you that they use two processes in this case. What you must just assume, that what you must know at the back of your head is that whatever will be on process B, process number 2, will be the output of process A, right? Because it starts, a process, you know, it's an ongoing thing. It has to start somewhere. So if there are two processes, obviously everything will start on process 1 or process A, right? So in this case, if you're in this case of the tutorial, you're having two processes, process A and B. So it means that it started on process, it's supposed to start on process A, then whatever you finish there, it must go to process B. All right, just know that. Okay, then as the management, are given the information regarding 31, the information ended 31 December 2019, right? So actual cost, let me use this pointer. Okay, actual cost that were incurred for process B during this. Okay, they are given that for process B, this is what you incurred. Okay, actual cost that were transferred from process A. So if you check this information, it's just testing how much yourself you can know and believe in yourself and then apply what you know. Why would they start by giving you things that were incurred on process B when you still have things that were from process A? Whatever is from process A must go to process B, right? It will become the opening of process B. Whatever is from the previous process, it goes forward to the next one, and then it must become the opening before you even do anything, because you have something from the other process. So this information just twisted nyana, but then you know that. So okay, actual cost were incurred for process B during December 2019. Material, it's 50,000. Conversion cost. Conversion cost, guys, it's labor and manufacturing overheads. Those costs that you can incur to, actually it's manufacturing cost. Yeah, manufacturing, then you have the material, then you have the cost to manufacture it. Yeah, those are the conversion cost. Actual costs that were transferred from process A. All right, we have 15,000 and 30,000. Total weight process B during 2019, during December 2019. Right, there you have, okay, and there you have that we transferred 1,500 kilograms from process A, right? And then finished goods that were transferred, finished goods that were transferred to the next process C. So do not be confused when they say there is process C. Process C might be even packaging, but it's not part of, what can I say? It's not part of manufacturing. So it's something else, maybe packaging, or if we produce things, then when we finish them, they are dirty, then we have to wash them. Maybe it can be that. So do not even focus on process C. It's just something else that you, and then closing work in progress. And so, you know, guys, sometimes it happens that you produce, then you do not finish everything, right? It's not possible, it's possible, but then most of the time you'll find that at the end of the time you did not complete everything. Then that's when you will have a work in progress balance. All right, so at the end, closing work in progress, it's 500 kilograms, and then it's 50% complete. Okay, all right, let's skip that for now. Okay, material is issued at the end of the process. That's information. All right, conversion costs are incurred evenly during the process. So guys, on the thing that you send, I try to make notes on the side. So if you click on the notes, it will actually take you to where I made the comment to, just like this one. So if you click on the first comment, it takes you to process A and B on the information. So there I wrote that these are the manufacturing processes. Manufacturing processes, what you must know is that what is from process A is going to go to process B. It goes like that. So, all right. And then if I click on this one, actual cost, okay, this one are the cost incurred on the current process. Okay, but then that one is not important. You guys are going to look into it by your own time, but yeah, it's on the group. I saw it, kept it, and it. So on the other side of that, then it will take you to the comments. It will take you to. Then this thing is freezing. Okay, then it's back now. So let's do the tutorial. In this tutorial, there was a solution, guys, that was sent, but then on my side, I find tutorials and things that are prepared and then they send to us. They are kind of hard to understand. So, hey, I just decided, because this is accounting. If you say 100/1, or yeah, if you when you call 10%, yeah, 10/100, you're fine. If I say 0.10, I'm fine. So there are many ways of doing it. So even in this case of process costing, myself, I decide to follow the method or the style of the textbook rather than the one of the tutorials. So in this case, if you can see, I edited the tutorial, this one and that one on your Blackboard. They're no longer the same in the solution. So this one is just one table. On Blackboard, I think you have 3 tables right there. So here I decided to just make it in one table so that maybe I can be able to say it better that you can understand. So this is the table, but then let me talk about how I got the table, how you get, guys will forgive me, this thing air freezer, I know why, because sometimes it works better, but then now, all right. Okay, let's go to the required. The required is saying that calculate the value of inventory as at 31 December 2019. So we are doing process costing, right? So if you're doing process costing, you must know that, okay, let me just come to the top, then we do this. Okay. There we are. Oh, something that I forgot to say, guys. If you are doing process costing, okay, you'll have the process account. It's there on your textbook, on the slides. What you must understand about the process account, you regard it as the work in progress account. So a process account means that it increases on the debit side and decreases on the credit side, as like how we are doing an asset account. So you claim that a process account, it's relevant, or it's what you can compare it, or you can say it's kind of a work in progress account. It will increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. So whatever you take from process A to process B will be on the debit side of process B. So, but in this case, we're not doing that. We're just doing to calculate the closing balance. So what you must do in the first place, you must calculate the cost per unit, because you cannot just go and calculate the total cost where you do not have the cost per unit. So how do you do that? There it is. So if you check there, rough, it's hard to move, but then I'll go and try. So I said to you, what you must understand is that from process A, you're going to process B. So the opening balance of process B is supposed to be the closing balance of what was transferred actually from process A to process B, right? So when you do your table, you will just come, because, okay, one thing again that you must understand here, we are given information mainly on process B. So it means that we are focusing on process B, not process A, right? So the reason why you are given that what was transferred from process A here is that now you are focusing on process B. Process A, we were done with it, we transferred on it, then we went to process B, that's where we are, and then that's where you focus. So you have to calculate the cost per unit firstly on process B. So the first thing that you have to do, you have to come and draw your account for process B. for process B. Then you'll come and say calculation of process B, calculation of cost of process B, cost per unit. All right. This thing is on your textbook right there. This kind of a table is on your textbook. So then you'll have your cost element. Then the cost element, then now you'll I said to you, what is from process A will be the opening balance of process B. So here you'll come and say cost element, right, on the table. Then the table will have a cost element column, total cost column, completed units column, work in progress, or work in process or work in progress units, total equivalent units. Total equivalent unit must not confuse, it's just the work in progress plus the complete. Oh, all right. Okay, total equivalent units and then the cost per unit. Sharp. All right, the columns are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, fine. And then on the cost element, your first line is supposed to be where you are going to write how much you transferred from the previous process. So myself, I decided to write here previous process account, or you can write yourself that from process A, right? From process A, it's fine. And then if you check from process A on the table, the total cost of process A, we're just going to go and quote from information there. Process A, it's hard to move, but then it's moving slowly. Okay, from process A, how much was transferred? 15,000 materials and 30,000 conversion cost. You just quote as it is. Then you put it on the table. Okay, you put it on the table, previous process cost. You write 45,000. It's up to you. If when you decide to show us, it was 15,000 material and then 30,000 labor conversion cost. It's up to you. You can write that. But then myself, I just added this 45,000. It's the 15,000 plus the 30,000. Then you write the total cost. So then now you come to the column of completed units. Then let's go up. Yeah, now it's working proper. Okay, completed units. Then on your information, if you check the on process B, because you're on process B, it tells you that units that were completed. Okay, from process A, we transferred how many units? 1,500 units. You see that. And then units that were completed or finished and transferred to the next, it means that those ones were completed. How many of them? 1,000. You quote that 1,000 as it is. You come and put it completed units. There it is. Right. So, right. And then, we move to the next column of work in progress. There. Work in progress, you transferred 1,500 units. At the end, the work in progress was how many units? 500 units. Then you quote that 500 as it is. You come and put it on your column for work in progress. So we are going to say that, okay, we took from process A, we transferred how many units? 1,500 units in total. And then you completed 1,000 of that 1.5. And then in the end, the work in progress was 500 units. So in total, you're supposed to have 1.5 units. Right. So to get the cost per unit, we are going to say this amount of total cost divided by the total equivalent units. Then the cost per unit is going to be 30. That was simple. It's simple, it's straightforward. I think there's no need for us to even consider the other cases. Let's just focus on the tutorial because this is accounting 2542. So right, previous cost, you start by, remember, we are doing the calculation of process cost B, cost per unit. So you start by the previous one that you transferred from the other one. There it is. Then you got that the cost per unit was 30. Then it's fine. And then now you'll come to material. We're on process B, right? We started by including the ones that we took from the previous process cost. Then now, because we are done with the opening balance, right? Then now we can. All right, and then we are done with the opening balance. Then now we can focus on what was happening on the current one. Start by the opening balance. Then now we are going to focus on what we added, on what we did, or what we incurred during the current one, right? So it was process B, the current one. So process B, we incurred materials of 50,000 and conversion cost of 100,000. Same story, same thing. Do not complicate it. You just take it and quote. We incurred material of 50,000 and then conversion cost of 100,000, right? And then units that were completed usually. And then when it comes to this part, because guys, I remember last year. Okay, the only time we wrote about process costing, it was on the test 2, but then it came exactly like this tutorial. So they just quoted the tutorial, and then we never wrote anything about it. I don't know if it will ever come, because honestly, this unit 7, it's another pandemic on its own, but then we are going to do it. We are going to make it. I know that you guys are going to make it. So we come to material. So material, I made notes. Let me check which note I made on material, because on this note, just these notes for you guys. All right, materials. Okay, before we go to this note, okay, I can find the note. All right. Okay, material. Okay, we get 50,000, right? We have it there. And then completed units, they were 1,000 according to the information. They were 1,000 units, right? 1,000 units of completed, right? And then now we have to go to the work in progress or work in process units. And then on the information, you see it's saying that closing work in progress is 50% complete, and then it's 500. So in general, you're supposed to take this one with this 500 and go and write it as the work in process units. But then now, because this is material, then there's a condition, and then that condition, I wrote it on these notes. I wrote the condition on the notes, and this is the condition. No, yes, this is the condition. It says that in process B, materials are not issued until the end of the process, right? And the closing work in progress will not have reached this point. The equivalent production for the closing work in process will therefore be 0 for materials. It's English, that maybe it's hard to explain, but then the notes are there. Just cram this. If the materials, guys, is added at the end of the process, then you are not going to have work in progress units for materials. That's what the condition is saying. In this case, they told you on this, let me go up. The information was saying that materials are added at the end of the process, right? And then this note is saying that if the material is added at the end of the process, then we are not going to have work in progress units at the end for materials. The reason being is why. Remember, this is the last process. We're having 2 processes, it's process A and B. If we were in process B, in process A, I mean, you are going to have those materials as for closing. But then this is the last process, then it's added at the end, just cram. If it's the last process, and then the materials are added at the end, you are not going to have any work in process or work in progress as for materials concerned. That's the cramming part. That it's a principle, then you just cram it. And then the notes are going to find them there. You can also reply and send me back if you want to reply. I don't know how it works with this one. If you reply, maybe I'll see the reply. I don't know. Okay, fine. So just claim that if the materials are issued at the end of the process, then you will not have any closing work in progress, right? So the work in progress is going to be dash. Then the total equivalent units are going to be 1,000. I forgot to type that, but it's fine. Are going to be 1,000 units. Then to get the unit cost, you're going to say the 50,000 divided by 1,000. Then that's it. You're going to get that. That's fine. Then we are done as far as material is concerned. And then on unit B, on process B, I mean, we also added the conversion cost of 100,000. So conversion cost, what does the information say? Conversion cost are incurred evenly during the process. That's normal, and that's kind of, it doesn't change. You are going to, if you are applying labor, you cannot apply labor at the beginning of the process, then you just leave it. Obviously, you have to be working throughout. So conversion costs are going to be applied. If you are incurring overheads of heat or electricity, you're just going to apply them throughout. So it doesn't change. It's only materials that can change, and then they tell you that it's applied at the beginning of the process. But then conversion costs, they'll just be applied throughout the processes. So because of that, then the units completed, obviously they are 1,000. It's from information above. And then now we come to the work in process units. Then the work in process units, then now, if you can check that they are 250, why now are we saying they are 250? Then you go and follow information again. Go and follow information. Information, it says that the closing work in process, we have 500 kgs that are in work in process, right? And then they tell you that they are 50% complete. So because now we are talking about labor, electricity and everything, we have to consider that these things, okay, they are 50% complete. Okay, we do have them, they are 500, but then 50% of these things, they are complete. So we consider that when it comes to conversion cost only, the nice thing about the process costing, it only focuses on materials and conversion cost. There are no other costs that you'll find. So it's quite simple to cram. So now I can cram this conversion. I made the notes, you will see them. Conversion cost. Okay, the closing work in progress for conversion cost will be guided again by your information. How complete is the closing work in process, right? So the closing work in process, it was 50% complete. So you'll simply say 500 multiplied by 0.50 or 50 over 100 or 50%. It's up to you how you do it. But then as long as you get the half of it, or multiply by 1 over 2, if you can see that, or 0.5, if you can see that. So 500 multiplied by 0.50 is going to be 250. Yeah, okay, 250. Then you are going to have 1,000 completed units, and then you're going to have 250 for the work in progress units. Then the total equivalent is going to be the completed units plus the work in process units, and then you're going to have 1,250, then 100,000 plus, 100,000 divided by 1,250, you're going to have 80 as the cost per unit. Then there you have it. Then now you have your unit cost as they are. So the information was saying that calculate the value of inventory as at 31 December 2019. So now you know that cost per unit, it's 30 for previous, and then you can simply add this 1, 2, 3. Let me try and do it. Right. I think it's, oh my God, it's frozen. Okay. Add one column here. 80 plus 8, it's 160. 160, right? So how many units were taken to the what? Then you can simply say, this is the, hello. Are you saying something? Hello? Yeah, the person who raised the hand can talk. Yeah, bro. Oh. Person with a hand, you can talk. Then I can't hear anything. It means the person maybe pressed the button by mistake. Right. And then after that, you can just now add your cost per unit as for previous, and then you'll get that the cost per unit, the total of it. Let me come here and write total. Or it will appear the total. Okay, it's not total incomplete, it's not total the right one. Okay, total is 160. Then 160, then it was, oh, then I wrote here, you will multiply, oh, I said that you will multiply this cost per units by the units. And then how many units were produced and finished? They are 1,000. There you have it. Then if you want the completed units, you'll say completed units multiplied by the cost per unit. Then you'll get the amount. If you want the working process, then working process is how many units? It's 500 units when you're focusing on the previous one. And then if you're focusing on conversion, you're going to say 250 multiplied by the code. So it's simple. The most important thing, that's why I did not even bother to do the calculations. The most important thing is for you to get the table right. So you just have to know that we are going to, when you come to the process account, if it was process A, obviously, you're not going to have the previous, you're not going to have this line. You're not going to have the previous process account, because if you're on process A, that's where you're starting. Can you have something from the back when you're just starting now? Obviously, you can't. So you're not going to have this one, right? But then because now we are from process A, then you have something from that process. Then you're going to start with that process. You cannot just forget about it or not even mind it, right? So that's why. And then after that, you have to consider the current process, And then as for the total cost, it's just the amounts that you quote them. And then completed units, they are all the same. I've never seen where they're different. Completed units, they will just be the same, guided by information. If you just see that completed units, in this case, they're 1,000, just write 1,000 going down. It doesn't change. Just write 1,000 going down. So work in process, that's where now you have to kind of, this column, this one, this column as it is, that's where you kind of now have to, I don't know, how can I add a comment? Okay, then work in process, let me add a comment on this one, so that when the person at the hand, you can still talk. Okay, this one of working process units, then that's why you'll find it's different depending on the situation that you're given. As for the previous, you just follow the information as you are given, that you put 1,500, you completed 1,000, obviously 500 is remaining. And then for material, follow again the information. If it says that material is added at the beginning of the process, it means that at the end, that material, you can follow the information or how much if we applied it at the beginning. At the end, how much of it, how many units of it were still incomplete. Yeah. So if you applied it at the end, there will be no work in process units for materials if the process account is the last one. So again, let's assume now that now you are doing process A. Yes, process A. Then they tell you that materials was applied at the end, but on process A. So it means that on process A, you will have the work in process units, and then they'll be guided by your information. In this case, you are going to have how many units? 500 units for the materials, because you applied them at the end, and then it's not the last process, right? Yes, it's not the last process, so we are going to have those units there. But then in this case, if they say that prepare the process account, and then if you check on information, this process account, it's the last process account, and then this material that is applied at the end, just on the work in process units, put a dash there. Then total equivalent is going to be the completed plus the work in process units. Then you're going to get the total equivalent. Then the cost per unit is the total cost divided by the total equivalent units. Then conversion cost, all right. Conversion cost, the cost is the same. Completed units, I told you that if you just see something in the information saying that completed units, they were 20, right? 20 going down, they just be the same. And then these ones, okay, we spoke about this one, we spoke about this one. Then conversion cost, that's why I can be guided by the information, but then it doesn't change. It doesn't change. It's guided by the information again. If they gave you that conversion cost, they were, closing balance was 1,000. Conversion cost, obviously, you apply them during all over the processes. So you'll be guided by the information. If they were 1,000 at the end, and then they tell you that the only thing that can change is the percentage, actually. It can say maybe 75% was complete or was not complete. So it means that you will take that one to here. So there they said that 50% was complete, then meaning that the other 50% was incomplete. Then that's what they're going to take here. And the total equivalent will be the completed plus the work in process, and then you'll get that. And then after that, you'll add the what, and then you get to this one. And then up getting to what they are looking for, which is they calculate the cost, calculate the value of inventory as at value of inventory. Inventory, it's an asset account, right? It increases on the debit side. So what are you supposed to take on the debit side here? It's those things of material conversion. So those, it's kind of simple after you get the table, but then that's what is important again is only the table. The calculation, they are not. The moment you just get the table wrong, even the calculations, they are wrong. So get the table right, just cram it, you will pass. You will pass. Okay. So another situation, maybe another scenario that you can be given on process costing is that there was opening work in process. Yeah. So if it was opening work in process, you consider it, right? Because even, let's say, that one, it can even happen. Let's say we were doing process account A. Then last month when we were doing process account A, we ended with a working process of 50 units. Then now when we do process account A in the following month, obviously we have to consider the opening working process that we closed that time when it was a work in progress. So what I'm saying is that on process account A, the first one, you cannot have previous process entry because it's the first one, but then you can have the opening work in process, because it happens that you did not finish the previous time, and then when you come to this time, you have to use it as the opening. But then those are complex issues, complex issues. So as for this one, the notes, okay, let me check the notes. All right, incurred in this process, previous process. Okay, this one, 1.5 was from the previous process, right? There it is. Then this 1,000, it's the completed units. Okay, this 500 was the units not completed. And then this one, I repeated the same thing, units not completed. And then after that, so the work, guys, the only thing that is hard here is this column. Not even hard, just that you have to pay attention to. It's this column only. You'll be guided by the information. And then that's it as far as process costing is concerned. And then as far as this tutorial is, it's not hard. It's not difficult. Just understand. Because most of some papers, they give people like you have to do both of the processes, process A and process B. Okay, let's assume this thing you're doing it as a T account. Obviously, on process A, it's a work in process account. It increases on the debit, it decreases on the credit. So on process A, you're going to have in the first place that you're doing on that way, when you open just a T account of process A, you're supposed to come and have a credit entry because you're not given the opening balance, a credit entry of these amounts. You just write process B, right? Try to take it to financial accounting. Process A, T account, then you'll have a credit entry of these amounts of 15,000 and 30,000 on the credit side, right? And then when you come to process B, you will open the T account and say process B. The first entry that you are going to put there, it's going to be this amount again as what? Process A. Hence, that's why I'm saying that the what you transferred from that one, it comes to this one. Remember materials. You issue materials to work to the factory, And then we are going to, on materials, we are going to have on the credit side, that one that you issued, credit work in process, right? And then when you come to work in process, you're going to have on the debit, the first line is going to be debit materials. Same thing applies here. From the other one to the other one. Asset accounts, that's how they work. But then you can start with the opening work in progress if it was there. But then it was not there. It was the closing only. So by that I mean, or if there was a opening work in progress, because they said that there's a closing. So if there was an opening work in process, you're going to come in and write opening work in process before you even consider the other ones from the previous. Then you're going to come and write opening work in process, and then you write it as it is. And then you write previous process account as it is. And then that's when now you can focus on what was happening during. Yeah, that's how it is, process costing. It's not hard as it seems like. That's how it is. You can do it in T accounts, but just know a process account, it's an asset account. It's a work in progress account. It increases and decreases. We are producing a. All right. Okay, then in that case, then. Okay, I swear that I'm not able to. Okay, comment. Okay, I'm coming. I'm going to read that. I'm coming to comments. Yes, at Amanda, I'm still on the same question, but then I'm not talking about the answer to the question. I'm just talking about different scenarios that are going to, that can be there. All right. Yes, Amanda, I'm not talking about the same. I'm not answering the question. We are done answering the question. You answer it in the form of the table. I'm talking about scenarios that can come. I was saying that if there was a working process opening balance, you're going to start by it. But then there was not. So you will start by the previous one. All right. So yeah, the tutorial for today, then nothing more to it. It was short in this way, one table, not the 3 tables. So yes, at Nakedi, you can answer. Okay, I mean you can ask.
Yeah, I wanted to ask or what's the final answer? What's the value of inventory?
Oh, value of inventory. Okay, just hold on a moment. Then it's not a problem. That's not a problem. I cannot remember the amounts as they are, but then just wait. I'll share a screen so quickly. I can't remember. I did not put them because I just wanted to show you the table. Just hold on a moment. It's slow. My visit is kind of slow, but then okay, let me do this. I'll get there quickly. Yeah. Okay, it's still opening, guys. The PC I'm using, hey, yeah, no stories why, but then it's opening. Okay, wow. Yes, it's loading, but then the value of the inventory, since you got the amount per unit, right? You can add the total amounts of those units, and I mean you can add the amount of the units, then you get the total for the units, and then you can multiply now with the units, because we assume that the unit cost will be the same for all the units. That's the assumption of process costing. The only difference, because you need to understand the difference between process costing and job costing. Job costing, the units are, I mean, they are not identical. Let me say they are special or they are different from each other. So each and every unit is going to have its own unit cost, right? And then in this case, we're just producing the same things, just that they're a lot. On the textbook, they used an example of a company that produces beer. Yeah, beer. So they said that in the process where you are making beer, you're not going to make maybe, let's say, 1 liter of Heineken each and every time, like we are focusing on 1 liter, but then you just cook. If they are cooking beer, I don't know. But then let me say you just cook beer, is in like water, you put the ingredients, yeast, stuff, and then you have the beer that is okay for people to drink. And then when now you packet, you even packet something that you pour. Okay, you pour it into those 1 liters. Obviously, each 1 liter will be having the same cost price. All the 1 liters, even if they are 1 million, each and every one, you can easily say that this 1 liter cost this and this. All of them actually they will cost the same amount, right? So when you are cooking, you will put the sugar. If you put sugar, like beers like Hunters, I agree they are sweet. Very Savannah, I don't know. Savannah, I think it's sweet, that one, because even girls, they can drink it. Don't think girls can just be drinking bitter things. So let's say you're making Savannah, right? Then you'll be cooking that Savannah. There you pour water, you put yeast, you put pineapple, and then you put apple, and then you put even bread and oats there. That's how you make beer. So at the end, maybe you'll just produce a large amount of beer there, as in water, beer. Then now it's beer. That water is beer, right? It's beer. Then when you start packing it, then you pour it into 1 liters. Then you can just say all those 1 liters, the cost per unit is this one. That's process costing. But then now, if you are making something like what? Something like watches, right? Companies that make watches, they do not make the same watch, like the whole company just focusing on one model of the watch. Okay, that thing is loading. That's why I'm just busy telling stories. That thing is loading. Okay, they cannot focus on just making one watch, right? So they'll be making a lot of those watches different. So you cannot now say your watch, the one that is spinning to the right, cost the same price as the watch that is spinning to the left, or the watch that is writing in numbers cost the same amount as the watch that is showing the sticks there. So that's the difference. So process costing, just have that example up here. You just cook it in one place, you put everything there. Everything will just be the same. Yeah, now I'm sharing. I managed to open. And then job costing, watches. The watches that spin, that use, that are writing like kind of digital, and then there are those ones that, so they cannot cost the same amount. That's job costing. They're different, produced by the same company. They cannot cost the same amount. All right, I think I'm sharing.
Tuma.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask, you said we're gonna multiply the total units by 160 for the value of inventory.
Okay, now we are there. Just check on the screen to answer that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, the other two tables, these were the solution that was given, but then, hey, I can't explain it. Then I decided to use that one. But then if you check that one, you got that process A previous. This is process A. They write process A. The unit cost was 30, material was 50, conversion was 80. Then that's what we got on the other table. Then it's fine. Then now, completed cost of completed units and work in process, right? And then I said that you can either add, but then, hey, that's the thing. Now I have to explain this thing because I see it. All right. Okay, let me get the calculator so that I can try and explain this thing, but then I didn't look at this thing as in myself. Okay. Okay, number 3 here, they say that completed units, the total is going to be 30 multiplied by what? 160. All right, guys. Okay, the completed units. Okay. Now I understand. Total. Okay, process A, we call that the unit amount is 30, right? And then we call that okay. I can't open the two. That's the problem again with this thing. I'm supposed to share the other one and this one, but then I can't. Just remember, if you're having your phone there, you can open your phone, or even attending with your phone. That's another problem. Okay, the completed units on the previous process, which was process A. Let me write here previous process. I'll write previous process because that's what we said. That's what I said. Then previous process. Previous. And then the completed units, they were 1,000, right? So you will simply say the completed to get the cost. You'll say the completed units multiplied by the cost per unit, which was 30. Then you'll say 1,000 multiplied by 30. Then you'll get the 30,000. 30,000 is it? Yeah. 30 multiplied by 1,000. It's 30,000, right? And then the working process, we said that there were 500 units, right? That were still working process on the previous account. Then you'll say the cost per unit of that multiplied by those who were still in working process. Then they were 500 multiplied by 30. You're going to get that 15,000. Then material, same stuff. Material, we said that we have completed of 1,000, but then we are not going to have work process because they were applied at the end. And then remember that note that I showed. So you'll simply say the completed multiplied by the amount. The completed, the 1,000, then it's going to be completed multiplied by 50,000. I mean 50 rand. The 1,000 multiplied by 50, then you're going to have this one. And then because I said there was not going to be working process at the end, then the working process is going to be the end. Then conversion cost, same stuff. Conversion cost, it was 80. I mean, no. Conversion cost, we were having a completed of 1,000, then multiplied by 8, it's going to be this one. And then the incomplete of working process was 250. Then 250 multiplied by 80, they're going to get this one. I'll copy this table, but then I will not copy this table. I will add the approach that I was talking about myself. Because this table, it explains, like it just completes the job done by these tables. But then I will share this solution. Then on that one that I sent, I will add the approach that I was talking about to show you that the units at the end, I mean the amount at the end, it will still be the same. But then trying to explain this one, you'll simply say completed on this line, work in process. Then the total will be this one. Then adding the total, it's supposed to give you 100 and what happened? Oh, right. But then on the other side, I'm still sharing. Okay, it's going to give you 195,000 right there. So cost per unit of the completed, I don't know what's happening, but then it's happening. Cost per unit of all right. Cost per unit of the opening, I mean of the completed, you multiply by on the previous, process 8 is the previous. Then you multiply, you just do that. Material, you will say the completed multiplied by the cost per unit, even conversion, the completed multiplied by the cost per unit. The second line will be focusing on the work in process account of the work in process units. Then we said that 500 were not completed, then 30 minus 500 multiplied by 500, it's 15,000. Materials, there was no work in process, then dash, right? Or you can say the 50 multiplied by 0, then you'll get 0. Anything multiplied by 0, it's 0. Then for conversion, the completed were 80. 80 multiplied by the cost. I mean, they were 1,000 completed multiplied by the cost per unit. Then, in that case, that's it. I'm out of that thing. I don't know what happened. I don't know. on the side of laptop, I just looked out. So yeah, guys, the tutorial is just like that. Simple. Focus on those things that you're given. Try to understand information, then you'll be fine. But then I'll send the 2 approaches. Then the one you understand better, you'll use it. Thank you. Yes, 1 hour 10 minutes. That was enough. Thank you.